Ladies and gentlemen, the local elections are upon us. It is time to cast your vote, and I am here as an actual socially liberal conservative to tell you why you have to commit to voting for anybody but the Conservative Party.
I want to pay tribute to Jeremy Corbyn, who led our party through some really difficult times, who energised our movement, and who's a friend as well as a colleague.
Well, almost anyone. Okay, here's the BBC's coverage. Local elections 2023 lead us to make final pitch to voters. Now, obviously, when I say anyone but the Tories, what I obviously mean is anyone but the Tories who isn't a gibbering, irrational, illogical communist ideologue, a woke hate preacher, or an upside-down left-is-right multiple rapists with big choppers should be incarcerated with female white-collar criminals. I mean, call me crazy, but that is happening. Yes, Brenda from accounts did a little bit of casual embezzlement, and the next thing you know, she's sharing a cell with a skinhead with tattoos on his face. And you do know that's not hyperbole, don't you? Just look, by the way, I think I did tell you lot that I subscribed to the Telegraph for several years, because just like my Twitter Blue account, I believe in financially supporting media whose objectives I agree with. But I cancelled my Telegraph subscription after they ran some ridiculous woke headpiece attacking Carl Benjamin a couple of years ago, and that screenshot there was taken from the Telegraph website. Just look at the subtitle underneath the picture. Isla Brinson pictured before her transition. Big, burly, skinhead face tattoos. And they're just carrying on with the same ridiculous rhetoric. Bryson carried out the rapes in 2016 and 2019. Multiple rapist. The jury rejected the defendant's claims that it was they who were vulnerable and that they would never hurt another human being. Everybody's joining in. They are about as honest as CCP radio. Anyway, I'm going off topic. Party leaders are making their final pitch to voters on the last day of campaigning for local elections across England. They're set to visit battleground areas before polls open on Thursday to elect around 8,000 councillors and 4 local mayors. The polls will decide who runs services in 230 local councils. They're also being closely watched as a key test of public opinion before the general election expected next year. Opposition parties have sought to attack the Conservatives' record on crime, as well as running key services such as the NHS. Oh yeah, and if anyone cares who watches me who's in Middlesbrough or the North East, just on a personal note, do vote for Mayor Andy Preston as the Mayor of Middlesbrough. He's neither Conservative nor Labour, and personally, I do think he's good for the town. He frequently responds to me on Twitter. His DMs are open. He engages with everybody that criticises him. He has got his flaws. They reckon there's quite a lot of under-the-table dealings going on, and a lot of people who are moving into some of these renovated spaces are mates of his. But at the end of the day, it's business. And the bloke, for all of his flaws, seems to do more work than any of the last 10 mayors combined. I'm a pragmatist. I don't expect perfection from our leaders. I just want them to be busy. If they actually seem like they put a shift in, that's good enough for me. So I'll take Andy Preston, and I recommend him to, for what it's worth, any number of followers of mine that actually live and vote in the Middlesbrough area to put a tick in the box for him. However, onto the wider picture. I personally advocate voting for either the Reclaim Party or the Reform Party. Of the two, I think I prefer Reclaim. I think Lawrence Fox is based and is constantly talking sense in the public forum, and it was first registered as the Brexit Express, which is a brilliant trolley name. Reform are alright as well, although Richard Tice has said a few illiberal things regarding mandates. However, either of them are better than the not actually conservatives. And if any of you are still on the fence and are still doing this least worst option thing, let me just disabuse you of that notion, right? The Conservative Party are not conservative. If you think voting them in is a better choice than voting for Labour, you need to give your head a shake. All you were choosing there is a long, slow death. They are 100% on board with all of the woke talking points, and last year legally admitted over 1 million people to the United Kingdom. The reason the NHS is crumbling, the schools are all full, the roads are knackered, and you can't get a dentist or a doctor's appointment is not down to funding or a lack of finances. It's because it is a black hole, while the Conservatives have an open door immigration policy. So if you vote for them, you are just voting for a long protracted death. I would rather see Labour get in, because they will push their shambolic agenda so fast and so hard that we're all going to feel like we've been bent over a park bench and rogered senseless with a plant pot. But that's better. It's like a nice, hard, fast shock. I'd rather get the plant pot treatment than have someone slowly scraping my knackersack with some nice, fine sandpaper for 10 years. The choice is simple. We convince the normies that they have to let the Conservative Party die, and we achieve that by voting for Reform or Reclaim, or the SDP even. Whoever it turns out to be the phoenix arising from the ashes of the Conservative Party needs to be the one that everybody gets behind in 2028, because the Conservative Party has to die in order for the UK to have a future. Short-term pain, long-term gain. Do not vote Conservative. Pick anybody else. Write your mum in. I don't care. But do not vote for that little weasel, Rishi Sunak, or any of his moronic ministers. In fact, no, I'll take that back. If you do have one very, very outspoken critic of the government who happens to still retain Tory party membership, I mean, because everybody likes your man Andrew Bridgen there, but I believe he has been thrown out of the party, so I'm assuming he's going to be standing as an independent. If you do have a dyed-in-the-wool Conservative who was very, very outspoken about all of the criticisms for the government with regards to mandates, immigration, and generally having the financial acumen of 10 drunk sailors on shore leave in Vegas, vote for them. But in the main, do not vote Conservative. Go with Reclaim or Reform or the SDP or anybody else, and let's just pull the plaster off and let Labour get busy completely wrecking everything. Okay? As I said, buckle up. Things are going to get much, much worse before they get better. So I suggest you stockpile some tea bags and a few thousand packets of custard creams, because you're probably not going to be able to get them for about 4 years as the UK turns into a banana republic. But trust me, long term, it's for the best. All right? Thanks for listening. Don't vote for any of the commies, and I'll see you all very soon. All right? Cheers.